Hey everybody, Tommy here, World at War Comics, and my next special guest, founder of Devil's Due Comics. You probably read him for a long time in the 2000s with that long G.I. Joe run. But yeah, Josh Blaylock is back again, and this time we're talking The Disavowed, which is currently on Kickstarter. The link is below. Get over there, and when you get to that homepage, hit that notify button. Tuesday the 17th, they go live, and you're going to see all kinds of amazing covers for the first pilot edition of Disavowed, including all the rewards. So hit that link, get over to Kickstarter, hit that notify button. That way you are made aware first on Tuesday the 17th. All right, without further ado, here is Josh and I. Thanks, everybody. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to World at War Comics. Back again, Mr. Josh Blaylock. Josh, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you don't know Josh, Devil's Due Comics, you've done a whole bunch of stuff around G.I. Joe and a whole bunch of other titles through Devil's Due. And now you're back to talk about the Disavowed, your partnership with Massive, and this amazing Kickstarter that is going to be live next week on Tuesday. Lots of cool stuff to check out.
Yeah. Tuesday. It's finally here.
Finally here.
Hurry up and wait
I can't
and
remember
wait
the
and wait and
last time
wait
you were
and then hurry
on.
up.
It must have been like 5 months ago, maybe 6 months ago, I think the last time you were on. And we did talk a little bit about Disavowed. So I'm super excited we're here now, man.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah, it's been I'm ready for this thing to come out. Let's get her.
It's been hurry up and wait for a while, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's super exciting, man. But before we get into that, how are you doing, Josh? How are things going? And how far along are you on the Disavowed, man?
I'm just good, man. Just following, riding the waves of the comic book industry or the roller coaster that is the comic book industry over the last year with distribution changes and all that stuff. Um, just wrapped up Mercy Sparks Daddy Issues #1, a new mini series coming out for that. Just sent off a new sci-fi one-shot Circuit Seduction Revenge to the printer. And the Disavowed, I'm working on issue 4. Popmon is drawing issue 3 right now. And we're just cranking along, and now we're finally ready to thanks to Massive giving the green light. Yeah, ready to introduce people to this whole story in the world of the United Five and Komodo.
It sounds excited. How long have you been sitting on this story, Josh?
Yeah, really, I mean, the actual book's been done for or the first part of it ready to go for about a year now. We released the Ash Can at San Diego Comic-Con last year, and but the general like concept a couple years before that, kicking ideas around, and then really all gelled together once like I talked to Pop Mon and he wanted to come in as a partner on this whole story. So yeah, Pop's just doing some of the best work of his career and just filling the pages with crazy detail and just yeah, super fun working with that guy. Um, and so I get to be the real like nerdy, anal retentive like designer on some certain characters to make sure there's these like winks and nods to the some of the parody elements and nostalgia, and then but then like just give it to him and set him loose. So
I
um
love it. I love it.
yeah,
Now,
for anybody who's new, like, so the Disavowed is like, imagine that in the 80s there really was this crazy over the top special forces, task force made up of different branches of the armed forces, and they were secretly formed outside of government jurisdiction through privatized corporations and government funding to stop the an esoteric cult turned terrorist called Komodo. So the United Five was formed to stop this group, and then but it's a little more of a gray area as to like who's bad guys and good guys on each team and who's telling the truth. And the more you learn about it, you realize that this was com rather than like a modernization of say like a G.I. Joe team in the modern day, this is going the other way. It's just owning its 80s-ness, and it was absolutely insane. And there's for some reason guys with Berettas and AK-47s that shoot laser guns and all kinds of over the top villains and crazy shit happening. But now today, that there's none of that around anymore, and it's a sort of about the child of one of those team members current obsession with working his way into finding out if this still exists and getting onto the team. And the disavowed refers to former members of each team who now work together for the similar agenda.
I love it, man. Is it more adult themed, the
Oh
comic?
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
these lasers don't miss everyone.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah, some of the 80s stuff. I mean, I was a huge fan of G.I. Joe growing up, but yeah, definitely Saturday morning cartoons were
yeah.
you never saw a laser hit very much. So I
Yeah, that's
haven't
why
really,
Massive's calling it the disavowed meets the boys. I
yeah,
mean, sorry, G.I. Joe meets the boys.
I love it, man. I love it. Yeah, this is gonna be super exciting. Obviously, if you grew up in the 80s, you know that was probably the best time to ever grow up as a child. Just from getting out and being locked out of your house during the week from your parents to Saturday morning cartoons to some of the best IPs in my life, from Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back to GI Joe to Transformers, Voltron, WWF before WWE. I mean, there was just so many good things in the
And,
80s, so I'm
and
really
just
pumped for this.
the perfect little dose of lack of supervision.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect dose of laugh.
So
Yeah, if my
yeah,
mom ever
that
heard that.
honestly, like that's kind of the feeling I want too. Like this isn't just a love letter to, you know, to 80s action and G.I. Joe and 80s cartoons. It's also just as much so to action movies, like all of the either military action movies or ninja movies that we all watched on VHS that we had no business watching at the time. Um, and all the crazy nonsense that came out there as part of the whole like independent VHS movement
Yep.
and when rental stores opened up and all that. But then like really bringing it into the modern era and like in the modern day, we're dealing with the ramifications of this team having existed and what they were really doing and what's left over from that. And like kind of like how people do feel today, looking back from like, rose-colored glasses of the past. They feel like today's more restricted and buttoned up and stuff in some ways. And that's kind of like what we deal with. And it deals with themes of these things never dying on one level, like nostalgia refusing to die. So I'm bringing that quite literally into the story, and also with the previous generation not letting go of power either, plays nicely into this too. So it's gets a little sci-fi, like any good story from that era, but grounded at the same time.
I love it, man. Was it fun having all this freedom, knowing that this wasn't tied to an IP where maybe you're being managed closely on how it was being handled? I mean, you could go balls to the walls with something like this, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, kind of like that's honestly that's part of my job to do to make sure I am, and hopefully in a smart way. Some of it's for fun and shock value, but like it's got to actually have some kind of a point to it as well. And yeah, it's just like whenever you play on existing, archetypes like that, that's sort of like that's it's just a great tool because everyone immediately has like an idea in their head of what this character's supposed to be like or what this whole concept might be about, and that's how you have fun, and that's what that's why they're picking it up. They want to go along for that ride too, So, and I think we deliver.
Yeah, I mean, just from what I've seen, a little preview. It looks, I mean, if you're watching this, just wait until this goes live and you get to see the art and some of the crazy stuff. I mean, you have some amazing artists on some covers, and it just looks absolutely clean and beautiful. And definitely, when you see a couple of covers, you'll be like, okay, yeah, this is definitely my 80s version as an adult that I would like to create. So I love it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we'll be able to show them in time for this yet,
Yeah.
to release yet, but like you'll see definitely like by Tuesday when this launches, we've got Michael Golden, Dave Johnson, Tim Seeley, Steve Kurth, um, and Pop Mon on the cover. So and we're lining up more already. There's another one that hasn't been announced yet that I'm excited about. Um, and if this is the kind of thing I expect, probably going to get a lot of retailers coming in wanting to get stuff for their own stores too. Um, but yeah, and one thing we're doing for fun too with the marketing is like it's kind of like treating it like a Mandela effect. Like this acting like as far as I'm concerned, this really did exist back then too. And I'm kind of doing a reboot. And it was from the 80s and it also had a reboot in the 2000s, and I'm just doing it all over again. And so in this little Mandela effect world, there's fans of all those incarnations and then people with lots of opinions about it. And it's just kind of funny because there's so much shit that came out in the 80s that you still learn about stuff you never heard of.
Oh
And it's
yeah.
like, oh yeah, let's just say this was one.
I mean, I think you just wait a little bit and you'll find out that whatever you wrote probably happened. I mean, that's kind of what's happening, right? You go
Oh
on
yeah.
Joe Rogan or something like that, and you're like, I can't believe that really happened, man. I
Yeah.
thought it was just a comic book.
That's what I always get. Well, I mean, so the bad guys, the bad guys are Komodo are this cult that I really have a lot of thoughts and stuff I want to play with like once we get the initial story out of the way and start to play with, the backstory to them, and they started in the 70s instead of like um an MLM kind of a network marketing group, like Cobra. It's more like this was can think of Sedona, Arizona, hippie, new agey, or like Colorado or the West Coast. It's sort of like that kind of a vibe. And something happens along the way with one of the main guru leader dudes starts to claim he's communicating with, the Star Brothers, and they're sending him special gifts and powers, and he seems to be doing some stuff that no one can explain, and somehow it turns into like, crazy over the top uniforms and weaponry and the need for the authorities to feel like these guys need to be stopped.
I love it, man. Can you talk a little bit about Devil's Due and this partnership with Massive for people that are obviously very aware of everything that you've done as Devil's Due? Massive is a little bit newer on the scene over the last, probably 3 years. Can you kind of talk about that partnership and how that's working with the Disavowed?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that comes down to like I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been wanting to transition into partnering with other publishers for a while. But it's hard to do when you have had your autonomy as a publisher for decades. And this was the first time I'd published partner with anyone since Image Comics like 20 years ago. We did a thing with First Comics, but that was me equally working alongside and co-publishing with Ken Levin, and I'm sort of helping them build their infrastructure while they in turn, we're sort of like a win-win situation uh, for both of us. But this is the first time I've actually gone as a creator or studio to do a deal with a publisher. And yeah, I liked how they were just doing things kind of different. And then no sooner than we entered into that, the whole industry just fucking changed. And
Yeah,
so
been a
we,
mess.
since and now actually Massive has found themselves being the sub distributor for several indie companies. So that's now completely separate from me as a creator. I am a publisher distributing books through Lunar through them,
Mhm.
while as long as it exists, still distributing through Diamond myself. Um, and so yeah, man, we'll just see we'll see how it goes. We putting our comics out directly to the fans on Kickstarter, not just for the Disavowed, but for other stuff. And then still going through the stores. And I to me, I don't care where people find my comics or how they want to collect my comics. I just want people to read my comics and stories and come back for more.
I love it, man. Are you going to be at San Diego Comic Con this year?
I don't have any plans this year. I really stepped back from the cons this year to focus on getting books done. So that's why that's why people are getting like New Mercy Sparks, this new sci-fi book, and The Disavowed. So that could change. I might last minute like be brought out there or decide to fly out. Um, but yeah, we'll see. Right, the next one, I've got I've been doing a lot of smaller shows that have been flying me out, but I love these like little medium-sized towns. They're like the cons are established enough to bring you out, and they've got a good audience that they've really curated, that comes to the show, really truly curious about getting new comics, not just like getting like voice actor autographs. And it's been great. I just finished my second show with Big Lick Comic Con. They do shows in Virginia, and starting one in North Carolina too. That's a great crew. I'm gonna go out to Grand Rapids this year and Uh, Shoot, there's another one. I'm also doing Baltimore. So I'll be at Baltimore Comic Con,
I've never been,
and
but I heard Baltimore from a comic book standpoint is one of the better cons. You know, a lot of the cons, right, have a mix between manga and anime and Hollywood and so when you get in the comic book section, you feel like, man, it's awesome how big it is at San Diego, but not everybody there for comics. So it's got this blend,
yeah,
which is great. But Baltimore is very comic central. I heard New York is C2E2, which I know you're very familiar with in your backyard there. Those ones are really comic, I think, focused, and those are some of my favorite ones just because of that.
yeah. The Baltimore's it had this great like superpower for years where being so close to Diamond and the Diamond Retailer Summit would happen every year, so all the publishers had to go.
Hmm.
So then they're already in town, they might as well just stay for the show. So they they would all set up and then Baltimore really never even needed celebrity guests.
Yeah.
They just were able to be like an old school Comic Con, but with, I mean, if you wanted to go network with publishers and stuff, it was one of the big holdouts where you could still do that. So now, like, I think they've probably not been able to keep all of that because Diamond isn't doing those summits there like that anymore. But it's still the audience is there. So like that's such an important part of it. You know, if you can have 20,000 people or whatever it is show up and they're truly there to buy new comics and art and everything. So it's still getting a great crowd of not just audience but creators, and it's great for after hours. It's one of the most fun like after hours cons if
Yeah.
you're in the industry at all. I think it's only second to like not even second. It's just that um one of the main hotel bars after San Diego every night and Heroes Con, which I don't get to go to this year, but those are like the best after hours shows. If you're in the industry at all and you want to know what it felt like in like 2005 to go to one of these, like that's go to those.
That's awesome, man. That's great. Well, Josh, let me pull up the Kickstarter right now. Let's make it really easy for people to find.
Yeah.
Um, You know, for me, being a nobody comic book creator, and obviously you with all of your history in the industry and everything you've already accomplished, when I see 246 people already signed up, man, I'm like, damn, that's pretty good. But I know the goal is 500. There's plenty of time over the next 4 days for people to get over there. I'll put the link below, make it very easy for everyone. Hit that link right where it says save because I'm already following. It'll say notify me. Just click that. Doesn't mean you bought anything. All it means is that you're going to get an email when it goes live. That way, you know you could come back and you could see all the details of everything that's taking place in the Disavowed. You're going to have the rewards on there. You're going to have all the covers on there. Any other new news that's taking place with the Disavowed. So hit that notify button. That way, you get that notification when this goes live. I think that would be amazing. But here it is. So you have a little bit here. This looks freaking amazing, man. I love this. So
Yeah, so that's yeah, and thank you for saying all that because that really, it's all so much relies on that first day because that's like what gets the campaign off to the good momentum and in that I don't know how much Kickstarter does like an algorithm, but it gets you up in the front page and all that stuff. So and I made it even as easy as possible actually. If you it's just disavowedcomic.com.
mm,
So disavowedcomic.com currently just forward straight to the Kickstarter page. And then I'm keeping that so that like whatever whatever we want to point to, we can just keep the same QR codes up and, keep sending people there. But yeah, that cover is so that's Steve Kurth, who was the original artist on the Doubles Do G.I. Joe first like year of issues. So he did this amazing wraparound. Um, we're gonna do a wraparound cover on Kickstarter that might be exclusive to the campaign with a different version in the stores, but I don't know how much I'm allowed to say right now.
yeah, yeah. Well, let's
I'm
not get
getting
in
used to
trouble.
working with another publisher where I can't just
Yeah.
say everything that comes to the top of my head.
I think that's enough, though. I mean, this cover, this wraparound cover, is going to be amazing. When the Kickstarter does go live, there'll be even a better picture of it, so you can get a really good feel of what that wraparound's going to look like. But this looks incredible, man. Villains on one side, heroes in quotes on the other side, which is going to be pretty awesome, man. That looks
Yeah.
dope. And then we
We
got
have
one little kind of shot in there so you can kind of see the action sequences that you'll probably be able to see throughout the entire comic book.
yeah,
My
and
assumption is this is going to be action balls to the walls for a lot of these issues just because of the nature of it. Would that be correct?
100%.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, a lot of backstory crammed in, but like it's done in a way where like, you're I think it's hopefully we've captured the perfect mix of like, you know, narrative exposition through a character's eyes, where a lot of and we're jumping back and forth between the 80s and then the present day. And we actually like people have seen a lot of this through the ash can that was released if they're part of the lucky crew that got the ash cans. Where we did, I think, an 8-page preview. Um, so we sort of were introduced to this whole world in a way through the eyes of the son of one of the late members of the United Five, and he discovers something that leads to like this learning about this, and what his dad was up to in the late 90s when he's a kid. So that's kind of drives his obsession to so and then just then like the internet's out now and growing and sort of harder to keep secrets. So consider like this whole battle between these two groups was kind of like another Area 51, just like a not very well kept secret full of conspiracies on the internet. So um,
I love it, man. How fun was it kind of to dabble in that? I mean, there's
oh
so
yeah,
many
yeah.
conspiracies today, and actually, it's kind of scary because some of those things we thought were conspiracies have become true lately, just because that information more is coming out. How fun is it to kind of dig into that little world and
Yeah.
add that to the story?
Oh yeah, as the story goes on, I think that's you're gonna see parts of the book have to do a lot more with certain modern things that are in the zeitgeist, even more so than like the 80s. But I'm linking them together in a way where one's responsible for the other that might not have been obvious.
I love it, man. That sounds like so much fun.
Oh yeah, this is that was so that there's a blue sky and his flying sugar glider Stormy attacking the guy in the face there, which you can't
Yeah,
really hardly see here, but it's you gotta have like he's like Blue Sky's the jetpack guy, and then Stormy's his little pet companion. Because for any of these type of teams, you have to have some animal going into combat for no good reason.
of course.
Um, and that's Peaches there at the controls.
Yeah,
Um,
looks awesome, man.
the this awesome battle scene with the so that symbol in the background of the tower, that's the Komodo symbol. Um, which gets into some new agey concepts we'll reveal later
Yeah.
because they're a bunch of they're terrorist hippies meet supervillains. Yeah, there we go. That's a awesome shot of the some of the main Komodo. We got Lord Anon in the middle, and the women to the top right. Those are the taxmen. They're his accountants, and Doc Shaman underneath them, who's sort of like a problematic casting of like a Indian guru type. But he's sort of this supposed to be like an esoteric shaman guy who really truly fits no real definition of it's like someone just making stuff up. Um, and but he really does know something about this power that they have. And the yeah, Tasmania, Sengoku coming back up around, the Cerulean Guard,
Mm,
the Highland and Fatale, and some of the other troopers.
love it, man. This thing looks so badass. I'm really excited for this. A little star in the face. I love it, man. Well, on Tuesday, the 17th, this thing goes live. So again, come over here, hit that notify button. You'll get a little note saying, "Hey, we're ready to go." Jump over there, and then you could pick your cover. There's going to be a few different covers that you could choose from. A big reveal on Tuesday. Don't miss out because some of these covers are. Wait till you see the Potmon one, which is my personal favorite. But a lot of really good stuff coming out on Tuesday. I think you're going to be really excited about this. This is the pilot issue. What does this look like long term? Is this the Disavowed going to be like a 6, 12 issue, or is this an ongoing that you're planning out?
There'll be more info launch really soon, but it's or announced. It
Okay.
definitely starting as a mini series in the stores in the fall, and that's already planned out. I just waiting for the official announcement to come out about the actual dates. So this is real now, and I mean I've got years worth of stories, so much of it, of course, depends on the success of like the first mini series and what what we're able to keep on doing. But as long as the people come and they're
Yeah.
picking it up, we have plenty of stories to tell. Um, each issue also contains like a PSA that's going to be a little crazier. And treating this, well, having a lot of fun with this being like a Mandela effect. We've actually like the first issue. I want to start off with like a letters column,
That's awesome.
with people chiming in already. And and yeah, just like the backstory that I can get into with Komodo and their formation, and then like yeah, so much stuff here. So there's at least 3 years worth of stories already, that I'm just waiting to get to.
I love it, man. Well, this thing looks absolutely fabulous. Josh, I can't wait to get my hands on it, man. Congratulations, it's finally here. Tuesday, it's going
Yeah.
live. I know it's been a hurry up and wait, just like most things in the comic book industry is. And then when it hits, right, it's very fast after that. So
Yeah.
that's usually how it goes, right?
Yep. That's definitely how it feels. So it's like, oh shit. Oh, I guess we gotta start drawing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No,
And
yeah, we're working on, I think I can't remember if I said this before the interview or during, but like, yeah, I'm working on the fourth issue now. The Pop is working on the third issue, and we're moving along.
love it. And then Pop is doing all the sequential for this first arc, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, he's co-creator on the project, so he's here.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And then like we'll probably, I mean, I think the sweet spot would be like to kind of get to where we can plan ahead, where we have some guest artists come in, do like a fill-in in between issue, like they used to do like the regular artists, but then you would have someone coming in and do like the one shot that kind of breaks up the arc. I mean, I would love to keep this going. I'm hoping if it does well enough that we just rather than even doing another miniseries, we can just say, hey, it's just going to continue on. If it's a four-issue miniseries, it's going to continue on with issue five, keep it going. But I mean, that's not totally my call, and there's reasons to do number ones against two and stuff. So we'll see.
I love it, man. Man, with the popularity of Invincible for like adult animation, to have like a Saturday morning cartoon feel to an adult themed animated Disavowed, that would, I think, go off, Josh. That would go off, I think.
Yeah, I'm not arguing.
I
Because it's
think there's a
the
market
same.
for that, man.
That's what's so fun about any type of like deconstruction like that is you have an instant audience because they can kind of tell who those characters are, who those archetypes are, and then but you put your own spin on it. So this has been done a million times by every like thing I think was said in the beginning. Justice League to Watchmen, Doc and Marty to Rick and Morty. I mean, so many things, but no one's really done this with like the 80s cartoon comic archetypes yet.
Not yet.
There's been some direct parodies and stuff and riffs, but like not an actual like, sort of deconstruction of it. So
I love it, man. Well, congratulations, Josh. This thing looks so freaking phenomenal. I will definitely be there day one, making sure I'm picking up my covers. Now that you kind of shared a little bit of what we could expect, man, I think this is a no-brainer for anybody that's looking for high octane action at an adult level where lasers actually hit people and you're starting to see some blood. I think that would be really exciting.
cool, man. Thanks, Tommy.
Hey Josh, it's always a pleasure, man. You're welcome back anytime. In fact, once the Kickstarter is out and people have that pilot issue in their hands, I would love for you to come back. That way we could actually dig through the story and have some fun. I think that'd be awesome,
Oh
man.
yeah, for sure, man. That'd be great.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Josh, I really appreciate your time, man. You're always welcome, and best of luck on Tuesday. I will blast this out, everyone. Everyone, everything is below. Everything that you need. All you got to go to is disavowedcomic.com. It'll take you right to the Kickstarter. Hit that notify button, and then on Tuesday, make sure you're back on Kickstarter, grabbing the covers that you want as part of your collection. There's all kinds of awesome rewards as well. So make sure you're there on Tuesday, but hit that notify button today, because that helps with the algorithm and it'll help make sure that Disavowed is everywhere on that front page of Kickstarter, man.
Dude, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Josh. Thanks for coming again.
Take care.
All right, you too, brother.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.